I'm Heinbach. Good to have you back. I'm not in my studio at the moment, but in an apartment in Bielefeld, where I'm working on a theater production on the soundtrack. In the time between rehearsals, I like to record music with the small setup that I brought, which consists of the Seat Lombardi Z-Drugs, the Seat Lombardi Coco Quantus, a dictaphone, and the Bastl Thyme. And since most recently, the Morfbeats Gamelan strips, of which I'm going to talk a bit about in this video. I've been friends with Adam Morfbeats, who designs these instruments, for about 2 years, and we've recorded some music together. And when I first heard the chromatic gamelan strips on Instagram, I just had to buy them. Even through the tiny speaker of my phone, they spoke to me. I've had a long love for idiophones, meaning instruments that sound by themselves when struck. I've played mbiras, kalimbas, and I even put the rods from a toy piano underneath my Seat Lombardi setup to use it live. I find that the combination of acoustic elements with electronic music works beautifully. The acoustic elements ground the electronic parts in reality, thus broadening the sonic range and enabling a deeper emotional impact. As a composer of soundtracks, an immediate emotional impact is what I'm looking for. That is why in many scores or in Ingenier's tracks, you find that the harsh electronic soundscapes are often contrasted by a piano melody. It's like a shining light in the dark that guides the listener. The gamelan strips are fascinating to me because they sound as they look. They are raw, yet polished. They are not as pristine or heaven-like like a glockenspiel, but they are more of an anti-hero. They have stories to tell. I know that Adam likes to create acoustic instruments that sound out of this world without any processing, like his Cowbell from Hell, the Marvin. And you can find that extraordinariness in the gamelan strips.
As I travel a lot for my composing work, the size of instruments is important to me. The gamelan strips fit easily in this small bag, though they're still rather heavy. They're made from steel, after all. As you can see, I put little foam patches underneath, so I can set them up anywhere. Adam uses spreads of acoustic pyramid foam, which also works well. I've experimented with a bunch of different beaters for them. I went to a specialist shop called Marimba here in Bielefeld. There I came around these. The staff did not know where they came from, and I got them for a few bucks. These have a beautiful balance of weight and softness that brings out a solid foundation note and rings the overtones nicely.
I'm no percussionist, but I found 4 techniques that are interesting to try and might work with other idiophones.
The first technique. If you put the strips close together, they will ring sympathetically. This is an interesting sound, but will also make the ringing strips sound louder, so you need to be a bit careful if you are processing them. Second technique. Put stuff on them and it might be beautiful. I watched the Against the Clock of Masayoshi Fujita, where he employed aluminum foil on his vibraphone. This technique works nicely with the strips, creating an exciting, ear-tingling resonance. Third technique, mix it up. This is more aimed at bypassing writer's block. For example, when muscle memory and expectations of the chromatic scale are hampering your ability to create new music. If you mix up the strips and play them in different order, you might get new ideas.
The fourth technique ties in with me being no percussionist. Play the effects.
I'm very much an electroacoustic composer, and that I like to take short acoustic phrases and play them via processing. My main instrument for this is a Seat Lombardi Coco Quantus. I made a full video on that if you're interested in learning more about it. Here, the mic, a Sennheiser MD21, records the gamelan, so I can loop it with the Coco Quantus. I can now modulate the sound using the knobs or the control voltage ins. It's possible to modulate the pitch, the volume, or play direction, or skip to start of sample. Because you can go to extreme ranges with the modulation, there's a world of sound in here. The second processor is the mighty Bastl Thyme. I've had this for 4 months now, and I still feel I'm only scratching the surface of what it can do. There's a lot to it, and I haven't even gotten into the sequencing part yet. But the patches that I've already made are very rewarding. Oftentimes, I use a whole lot of modulation, which in Thyme language is called robots. With the robots you can create patches that are almost like an instrument in themselves and are very reactive to input. In that regard, it's similar to the Coco Quantus. You put something in and you get a whole lot more out of it. Don't go without effects if you're doing electronic music.
A few things to note. The gamelan strips are made from steel, so they will rust if you don't take care of them and store them dry. Also, even though they're compact, they're still heavy. So they might get you in trouble if you're trying to take them on to carry on with a lot of other gear. I'm still trying to figure out a way to use the gamelan strips in my live sets, which is not easy with the setup I'm using right now, because the microphone and the loopers here and the lo-fi resolution that the delays have will end up in feedback hell very easily. That's why I usually put contact mics on all my idiophones, such as the Mbira, or the Ecalimber has a built-in pickup. So if you have any ideas that don't involve adding a bunch of equipment, please let me know in the comments. That's it for this video. If you have any more questions, you know how to get in touch. See you in the next one. Bye.